What's happening, party people? I hope you're having a fantastic finish to your 2024. We're in the final month of December 2024, the fourth quarter. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I want to talk to you about when to pivot and when to push through. When to pivot and when to push through. There are dynamics in the pursuit of greatness that you're going to have to navigate. For example, you're in a relationship and you love the person that you're in relationship with. You're committed to the success of the relationship. And the person that you're with is going through their Yosemite, their storm, their dark period. And maybe they're not as communicative. Maybe they're not as responsive. They love you, but they're not available because they have so much to contend with on their plate, and you have to make a decision. Do I pivot or do I push through? Provided that that person, even though they're in their dark space and they're not available, you're committed to the relationship and you love that person. You look beyond their faults and you see through to their needs. That to me is a push through situation. Now, you may be in a relationship with someone and they're in their dark space. However, they're being disrespectful. They're talking down to you. They're being verbally abusive to you. They're not respecting your relationship. They're not being honest. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, for me is a pivot situation. You have to pivot out of that dynamic, because it takes two to tango. You cannot try to account for someone that you're supposed to be in a relationship with who's not respecting you, who's not bringing a level of values and morals and ethics to the dynamic. And that's different, because now they're being verbally abusive. Now they're cheating on you. Now they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, but they want you to stick around while they're working this stuff out. Now, that's a pivot situation. So you see the difference? I believe that you love your spouse through the difficulties and the storms, provided that there is respect, that there's communication, and again, like they're not going to be how you want them to be all the time, but you got to have patience and love them through that. Now, let's talk about it from a business standpoint. So I was in a business at one point, and the business was going incredibly well. And there was a give and take. There was a mutual respect and communication. And when I did my part, my business partners did their part, and there was no issues really. Like, we had to work through some of the challenges of being in business, but that was fine. And then there came a point where all of a sudden they were not doing their part, and I had to evaluate that. And I understand there are things that come up, and maybe you can't do or fulfill your obligations, and let's talk about it. Let's have an honest conversation. Let's see if we can come up with some solutions. Let's problem solve. And that's what we did. We sat down at the table, we brainstormed, we tried to work through things. But here was the challenge. This is where I had to make a decision between pivoting or pushing through. When I recognized that there was a lack of integrity, when I recognized that, oh, wait a minute, now you don't have any character. You're not taking ownership and responsibility. You're wanting to play the blame game. This goes beyond what we would deem as fixable. I had to pivot. And it was a very quick decision like that, because I recognized immediately it didn't matter what solutions we came up with. When you don't have any character, that cannot be fixed. We can fix problems. We can fix, business things that are, money, coming up with money, things of that nature. We could come up with some solutions, but if you don't have any character, I can't mess with that. I made a quick pivot, and everything that I anticipated actually came to fruition. and that business went bankrupt, went belly up. So you have to understand when you're making these decisions about when to pivot and when to push through, you got to look at number one, are we aligned when it comes to our values and our principles? We can come to an agreement, and if I'm in a marriage, let's say, for example, I'm committed to my wife. My wife is going through some challenges, and she needs me to love and comfort her, even though she's not emotionally available to me because she's got to work through her stuff. That's fine. That's part of what I signed up for when I made the commitment to her and to our relationship. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to be of service to my wife in her healing journey, and I'm happy to provide patience and love and support without wanting anything anything in return, because I'm willing to forego my needs in service to hers, because that's what I signed up for in being in a committed relationship. That's a push through, right? I know when to push through. Now, if my wife comes to me and she wants me to provide and do everything for her, but she's going to be verbally abusive, and she's going to be emotionally vacant, and she's going to be doing whatever she wants to do whenever she wants to do it, and she's not going to respect our values and our principles. Well, no, I'm not doing that. That's a pivot. Now I'm a pivot out of the relationship. I'm going to I'm going to break free from that contract that we had, because she broke the contract first. You understand? So there are nuances to it. I believe that you got to have those values and principles that are in alignment, and you want to have a commitment to the success of the relationship, of the business partnering, of that dynamic. So there are a lot of times where people are in these situations and they push through when they should pivot, and they pivot when they should push through. And knowing the difference is about wisdom and discernment and commitment. When I'm committed to my business, and the business is going to have ebbs and flows, but when I understand that the business that I'm committed to provides exceptional value, has incredible leaders that are stewarding the boat, that are guiding the boat, leaders of integrity, of transparency, and strong communication and vision. And I know that the business is providing exceptional value and has legs that are 10, 20, 30 years long. Well, then I'm going to push through, because I know what I'm bringing to the table is unmistakable. For example, I am involved in virtual healthcare, and I understand that in a post-COVID world, that the entire globe has been conditioned for the virtual experience, because they're coming out of 2 years or more of doing everything from their screen. And when I bring something to the table and I say, listen, you have unlimited doctor visits 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have zero cost in your prescriptions. So if you're spending $300-400 a month and we get you down to zero, we're saving you $4,000+ a year. When we provide you unlimited mental health and therapeutic care so that you can take care of yourself mentally, unlimited, I understand that the value proposition is through the roof. I understand that for all time, those services are going to be needed. I understand that because we have such a low price point in terms of what the monthly fee is, it's such a low price point. We're talking, $8, $10 a month. I understand that that's never going to go out of style. And so even if we as a company, as a business, if we have some challenges, I'm automatically on push through, because I've already checked off the boxes that we are aligned. We have the same principles, the same morals, the same value system, and we are committed to servicing hundreds of thousands and millions of members. Like, I already know that. So whatever the challenges are, I know we can navigate those challenges. You understand? Whereas I may be in the same situation, but if the leadership is compromised, if the leadership is greedy, if the leadership, instead of being people over profit, which we are, if the leadership were profit over people, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't matter how great we are, we wouldn't be able to last because we're not aligned. But because we are aligned, I know it's always going to be a push through situation. I'm not concerned about having to pivot out of it because what we're creating and what's been established over the last 5 years and 350,000 members in, I know for a fact that this is a business that will outlive me. This is a business that will service not only my kids, but my grandkids and my great grandkids. You understand? You get the difference? So knowing when to pivot and knowing when to push through. If I'm working with someone and I recognize that the person I'm working with is unreliable, not a person of integrity, never keeps their word, I'm pivoting out of that. They may be a nice person, but if they have no integrity, they don't keep their word, I'm pivoting out of that. But if I'm with someone and they're having some challenges, but they're communicative, they have integrity, they do what they say and say what they do, but they're just having some challenges, let's push through. Let's keep working. I believe in you. So knowing when to push through and knowing when to pivot is so important. When you're at the gym, ladies and gentlemen, and you're pushing through because you have a commitment to better health and better fitness, you push through. You don't pivot and punk out. You don't pivot and check out. You don't pivot and wimp out. You push through to the end of the workout, and then you get ready for the next one. If you're at the gym and you snap a tendon off off the hamstring, or you break a bone, now you don't push through. You pivot now and go get fixed up, and you can come back later. That's a pivot situation. A push through, when your lungs are burning and you're sweating profusely and you feel like you gonna die, you push through. That's a push through because you're just hurting. You're just sore. Your lungs are just burning, but you can push through. Knowing when to pivot and knowing when to push through, ladies and gentlemen, is about your value system, your principles, your morals, your ethics, your commitment, your integrity. That's knowing the difference when to push through and when to pivot. And not compromising your standards. I will not lower my standards in order to push through because I am doing business with someone that I've discovered has no morals and no ethics. They don't have any principles or values. They're not a people over profit person. They're a profit over people person. I ain't pushing through with that person. I'm gonna pivot away from that person. But if I'm rocking with somebody and they got morals and ethics and they got principles and a high value, high integrity, boom, we're gonna push through. Whatever it is, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna rock with you because I know that's long-term viability for whoever comes into the circle that we're establishing. When to pivot, when to push through. Use discernment, use wisdom, get good counsel. If you're not sure, get some good counsel and make the best decision for a long-term, loving, committed outcome, whether if it's a relationship, if it's a business, if it's your health, if it's your life. Have an awesome and amazing day. We'll see you soon.